So today we're going to talk about solving other types of equations. All right, the first set we're going to talk about is polynomials. That just means it has many terms. We're going to talk about radical equations, rational equations, which are fractions, that sort of thing. But today we're just talking about polynomials. Can you get imaginary answers, guys? Yes, right? We learned imaginary numbers, so from now on, you can get real solutions or you can get imaginary. We need to remember that. So what we're going to talk about today, like I said 3 times already, is polynomials, where most of them can be factored, right? Factoring is something that we're never, ever going to move away from, so we need to really get a good handle on it. The first thing that we do when we factor is to take out the GCF. We still do that, all right? This right here says if the variable of the first term is a square of the middle term, you can use substitution to simplify. I don't think that's going to be the easiest method for you guys, so I'm just going to stick with just factoring. It's probably better. All right, some little tidbits here. It says solve by factoring. We're going to do all these by factoring. First thing I want you guys to notice is the exponent. What is the highest exponent in this equation? 4. That tells you you should get how many solutions? 4, right? They all might be real. Some might be real, some imaginary, or all of them imaginary. But the highest exponent of an equation tells you how many answers you're going to have. So if we're going to solve by factoring, what do we have to do? Everything has to be where? On the same side. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3x to the 4th. If I move positive 48 to the other side, what does it become? Negative, so minus 48 squared equals 0. When we factor, the first thing we take out is our GCF. Is there a GCF in 3x to the 4th and 48x squared? Yes, I can take out, what letter? I can take out x squared from each, right? And what number? 3. Guys, when you take it out, does it go anywhere? Does it just disappear? No, it goes out in the front. So we rewrite 3x squared. So then what are we left with? X squared, good. What's 48 divided by 3? 16, good. Equals 0. All right, I can't factor 3x squared anymore. Can I factor x squared minus 16? X minus 4x plus 4. If that was a plus 16, could you factor it anymore? No. Only the difference of squares. You'll get a question like that in a minute. God bless you. And you'll see when you have 2 perfect squares, but there's a plus sign in the middle, your answer becomes imaginary. So now, guys, we're going to take each piece, since we solved by factoring, and we're going to set each piece equal to 0. X plus 4 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. I get x squared equals 0. How do I get x all by itself? Take the square root. When you take the square root, what do you put in front of your answer? Plus or minus. What's the square root of 0? 0. This is a special case. It's called multiplicity. Is there such thing as plus or minus 0? No. But you do have 0 how many times? 2 times, all right? You don't have to write it twice. You can just leave it like that. Then what do I have here? X equals negative 4. And here I have x equals positive 4. So I have 0 2 times. I have negative 4 once, and I have positive 4 once. There's my 4 answers. All right, so let's look at number 2. Again, how many answers should I have for this problem? 4. My highest exponent is 4. That's how many answers I should have. If we're going to solve by factoring, everything on one side set equal to 0, yes? All right, look for the GCF first. What do they both have in common? 3x squared, great. So we're going to bring that 3x squared out in front. It does not leave us, it just goes in front. And then what are we left with? Well, 9 divided by 3 is 3, so x squared minus what? Minus 4? Okay, equals 0. Can I factor anything anymore? There's nothing else I can factor. So we're going to set each piece equal to what? Equal to 0. So 3x squared minus 4 equals 0. So again, here I'm going to divide both sides by 3. I get x squared equals 0. Take the square root. What's x equal? Get in the habit. When you put square root on, what do you get? Plus or minus 0. On WebAssign, you don't have to enter plus or minus 0. And then we're going to solve on this side. How do I solve? Add 4. 3x squared equals 4. Then what? Divide by 3. So x squared equals 4 over 3. And then my last step, take the square root. So x equals plus or minus goes in front of my square root. What is the square root of 4? 2. Do we know the square root of 3? No. So I have that. Can I leave that, guys, as my final answer? Why not? There's a square root in the denominator, so we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root that's in the denominator. So you get x equals plus or minus. In your numerator, you just stick those two together. 2 square roots of 3 over what number? 3. There you go. There's your 4 answers.
So what time we just put 0, 0, and positive 2?
It'll probably take it if you put just 0 once. Yeah. If you put it twice, I think it's fine. All right, how is number 3 a little different? There's 4 terms, all right? First thing we always look for, though, is the what? GCF. Okay, good. Is there a GCF in all 4 of these? In all 4? No, right? So when we have 4 terms, guys, what do? We group. Great. So in my first parenthesis, what can I take out of x cubed and 3x squared? X squared, good. And I'm left with x minus 3. In my second group, what can I take out? What kind of 3? A positive 3, right? And then I'm left with x minus 3 equals 0. So my new GCF is x minus 3. I write it one time out in front. And then my leftovers get their own parenthesis. X squared plus 3 equals 0. How many answers should I get for this problem? 3, because the highest exponent is 3. Can I factor x squared plus 3 anymore? Nope. So we're just going to set it equal to 0. So here I have x minus 3 equals 0, and x squared plus 3 equals 0. So on my left-hand side, x equals what? X equals 3. Great. Then on my right-hand side, how do I solve this? Subtract 3. So I get x squared equals negative 3. And then what? We're going to take the square root. Guys, when you take the square root, what goes in front of your answer? Plus or minus. Think about this. This says negative 1 times 3 underneath your square root. What's my answer here? I like the I. We're going to take the I out, right? But does the 3 come out? No, so it's just I square root of 3. So how many answers total do we have here? 3. How many of them are real? 1. There's only 1 that I could plot on a graph. What this is going to tell us later on is there's one place where this graph, when you graph it, crosses the x-axis. But you don't need to know that right now. All right, how many answers in this one? 3. First thing we do is take out the GCF. Is there one? Is there a GCF? No. So 4 terms, what do? We group. Great. What could I take out of x cubed minus 5x squared? X squared, and you're left with x minus 5. What can I take out of negative 2x and a positive 10? Negative 2, good. I'm left with x minus 5. So my new GCF happens to be x minus 5. And then I'm left over with x squared minus 2 equals 0. God bless. Can I factor x squared minus 2 anymore? No, it's not the difference of squares. So now we're just going to set each piece equal to 0 and solve. X minus 5 equals 0. And x squared minus 2 equals 0. So on my left-hand side, what does x equal? X equals 5. Good. And what do I do on the right? Add 2. So x squared equals 2. Then what? Take the square root. So x equals, what goes in front of my answer? Plus or minus. Okay, do we know the square root of 2? No. How many real answers do I have here? 3. All 3 of those are real. There's no imaginaries in there. The square root of 2 is just a gross decimal, but it is an actual place on the graph. So here we have 3 answers. They just happen to be, one is a nice pretty whole number and the other 2 are not. All right, let's do the next, then we're done. All four of these are trinomials. We know how to factor a trinomial. There's something called U substitution. I'm not going to go over that right now. It can be very confusing, so I don't want to do that. I want to go through our normal factoring thing. So do you guys notice everything's on one side set equal to 0, yes? How many answers should we have? 3. First thing we look for is the GCF. Is there one? What do all three of these have in common? 3x. Okay, I agree. Take out a 3x in all of them. So your 3x comes out in front. What are you left with? 2x squared minus 9x minus what? 18, okay. Equals 0. Whoops, I forgot the squared. Okay, we took out the 3x, guys. It stays there. You keep it out in front. How do I factor when my a term is not 1? I multiply what? A times c. 2 times negative 18 is? Negative 36. Okay, are there factors of negative 36 that multiply to give me negative 36 and add to give me 9? So I have 1 and 36. Not 362. 2 and 18. 3 and 12. 4 and 9. 6 and 6. What combination could multiply to give me 36 but add somehow to give me a 9? Or subtract to give me 9? 3 and 12. Perfect. What are my signs going to be? Perfect. X minus 12, x plus 3. Can I go ahead and solve where we are? No. What do I have to do with my a term? I have to divide both of these by your a term. So this is just an extra long factoring problem. What's 12 divided by 2? 6. So I have x minus 6. Does 3 divide by 2 nice and pretty? No. So my 2 becomes my coefficient. 2x plus 3 equals 0. I can't factor anything anymore. So what do I do with each little piece here? I set them all equal to what? I set them all equal to 0. So 3x equals 0. X minus 6 equals 0. And 2x plus 3 equals 0. So my first little equation, divide both sides by 3. And what does x equal? 0. Good. My second equation, x minus 6 equals 0. What do I do to both sides? Add 6. So x equals what number? 6. And then on this one, there's 2 things I have to do to isolate x. What are those 2 things? What are my 2 things I have to do to isolate x? Move the 3 over. Okay, so when I move it, what does it become? Good. Negative. So I'm going to subtract 3. 2x equals negative 3. And then what? Divide by 2. So x equals negative 3 over 2. How many real answers do you have here, guys? How many? 3. All 3 of them are real. There's no i's or anything in them. That means the graph will touch the x-axis 3 times. All right, let's look at number 6. It's a trinomial. Everything's on one side. We're good to go. Could I use the quadratic equation for this problem? No. How come? Good. You can only use the quadratic, guys, if your highest exponent is a 2. It's the quadratic equation because a quadratic has an exponent of 2. So I cannot use the quadratic. Don't try to plug it in there. How many answers am I going to get here? 4. All right, so we're going to factor this. We're not going to use substitution. We're going to factor. What times what gives you x squared? X times x, right? So what times what is going to give you x to the 4th? X squared, good, times x squared. Very good. What would give you x to the 6th? X cubed and x cubed. What would give you x to the 8th? X to the 4th, x to the 4th. Okay, good. All right, so what are the factors, guys, of positive 2 that multiply to give me a positive 2 but add to give me a negative 3? Minus 1 and minus 2, right? All right, can we factor anything else? Are there any difference of perfect squares? Yep, so x what? Plus 1 minus 1? Can I do anything with x squared minus 2? Nope, it just has to stay like that. Now what do we do with each piece? Set each piece equal to 0. So x plus 1 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. X squared minus 2 equals 0. So my first little equation on the left here, what does x equal? -1. My second equation, what does x equal? +1. Good. My third equation, I'm going to move the x over, becomes x squared equals 2. What do I do to both sides? Take the square root. So x equals, what goes in front of my answer? Plus minus. And do we know the square root of 2? No, so just leave it. All 4 of my answers are what kind of answers? All 4 of them are real. Good. All right, 2 more and then we're done. Again, trinomial, 3 terms. Highest exponent is a 4. That means I'm going to have how many answers? How many answers? 4. Good. Is there a GCF? Nope. What times what, guys, is going to give me x to the 4th? X squared. Good. What are the factors of positive 12 that'll multiply to give me a positive 12, but add to give me a -7? -4, -3. Good. So help me out here. Can I break down x squared minus 4? To what? X minus 2x plus 2. Perfect. Can I break down x squared minus 3 at all? So now what do I do with each piece? Set it equal to 0. Perfect. So I have x plus 2 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. X squared minus 3 equals 0. My first equation over here on the left, x equals what? -2. My equation in the middle, x equals what? +2. And then my third equation, I have x squared equals 3. Do what to each side? Yep. So x equals, what goes in front of your answer? Plus or minus. And do we know the square root of 3? No. Again, all 4 of these answers are what? Real or imaginary? They're real. If you guys had, and I don't know what the next expression is, but if you guys had this, could you factor that anymore? No. It's not x plus 4, x minus 4. It's not x plus 4, x plus 4. You'd have to solve from here. So when I would solve this, guys, you would move the 4 over. You get x squared equals -4. Then do what? Take the square root. What do you notice? What's underneath your radical here? This would be x equals, this is -1 times 4. What is the square root of -1? I. What is the square root of 4? 2. So this would be plus or minus 2i. Those are possibilities. You guys could get imaginary solutions. All that means is it doesn't touch the x-axis. It's not an actual intercept. I don't know if we're going to see that or not. Just showing you. All right, last one. 4th power. How many answers do I have? 4. Are they all going to be real? Yes or no? No, not necessarily. They all have been, but they don't have to be. So I have a trinomial. Is there a GCF? No. So I'm going to multiply a times c. What are the factors of positive 36 that multiply to give me 36, but add to give me a -37? -36 and -1. Okay. What's going to go in the front of each of my parentheses? X squared. Wonderful. Equals 0. So guys, we have to remember, since our a term is not 1, we need to divide both of these by your a term, which is 9. I forgot to do that in class, so make sure you guys get that. So 36 divided by 9 is going to leave us with x squared minus 4. This is not going to divide pretty, so this will become 9x squared minus 1 equals 0. So now we'll set each piece equal to 0, or we can factor more if you want to. If you want to factor more here, you can say this is x plus 2, x minus 2. If you want to factor this more, some of us can do this, some of us can't. We'll just leave it as 9x squared minus 1 equals 0. So now we're going to set each piece equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, and 9x squared minus 1 equals 0. So here, guys, we have x equals -2. Here we have x equals +2. And here we're going to move the 1 over, so 9x squared equals 1. Divide both sides by 9. You have x squared equals 1/9. So now we take the square root, and we get x equals plus or minus, the square root of 1 is 1, square root of 9 is 3. So here are our 4 answers. You guys could have solved it from right here and gotten the same thing, but we have to remember our plus and minus since we're going to take the square root.